It's going to be quick handoff to Valdez. And he picks up about 6 yards in the play.
And that was a sophomore there, number 32, Alberto Valdez, listed not only as a running back but an inside linebacker and an all-around athlete. You gotta love when you have those that you're able to throw onto the roster. Just the versatility, and only a sophomore is Mr. Valdez.
So coming out for Klexico, Diego Moreno is the quarterback. He's going to see a lot of running from this team as they're in a bunch formation. Again, another handoff this time to the hands of Valdez, trying to get around the outside, very near a first down marker. We'll see where they spot the ball.
Well, there, just a simple toss to the right. As you mentioned, they were bunched together. Defense just looking to find who had the ball there. As Mr. Valdez, 2 carries, and he's got plus 10 yards here to start the ball game.
So it's a first down ball on the 28-yard line for Klexico. Again, Diego Moreno under center for the Bulldogs. It's going to be an inside handoff to the up back. He's going to get about 4 yards on that play there.
Well, so far what we've seen out of this Bulldogs offense is very reminiscent of the Air Force Academy. We see them, at least we used to see them once a year here at Qualcomm Stadium as they would take on the Aztecs. But there's nothing wrong at this level. You know, if you're going to pound the ball, keep the clock moving, and hold on to the possessions if it ends up in a positive score one way or the other for you on offense.
Goes as a 4-yard carry for Querez. 2nd and 6 now. Back to pass this time for Moreno. Going up in the air, and ball was caught but out of bounds. Intended receiver was number 15, Aldo Munoz.
And there, Cortez just floating it on up to his wide receiver, who I'd say he had a step on the coverage there, but wasn't able to come down inbounds or with the ball. That's going to be a long incomplete as it brings up third down here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Munoz is their number 1 receiver, so he'll be targeted on the few times that they actually do pass the ball. Again, bringing up 3rd and 6 now for the Bulldogs. And it's going to be another handoff. Looks like it's in the hands of Valdez. And the ball hit the deck, and it's going to say he's down by contact.
Well, it looked like from up here that Jonathan Avina, the ball carrier there, his knee was down. Ball came squirting loose right in front of the back judge, and he's going to go ahead and say that the running back was down, short of the first down here for the Bulldogs. And here they're going to go ahead and looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down.
Yep, 4th and very short, 4th and about 3 now for the Bulldogs. And it's going to be handoff to the backup is Valdez. And he is not going to pick up the first down.
And you got to like that. Huh? After 2 carries to start the game that picked up a quick 11 yards. The Aztecs defense stiffens up. And they're going to go ahead and take over on downs here in Bulldogs territory on the 39.
So after getting 1 first down on their opening drive, they failed to pick up the first down on the run on the short 4th down. So we'll see the first time now we'll see Montgomery take the field. And Gabe Lill starting at quarterback for the Aztecs. And looks like we have guys jumping outside for the Bulldogs.
The anxiousness at this level, you can't blame them. They're ready to go. They're going to go ahead and pick up yardage. We repeat first down here. It's going to be encroachment on the defense.
So once again, Gabe Lill, the junior quarterback for the Aztecs, under center in a 4 wide receiver spread option. It's going to be handed off. Looks like that's Mathis bouncing backwards. Actually, that's Williams, and he's going to rack up a few yards the negative way as he goes way back to the 45-yard line.
And there, number 22, Miguel Vizcata, the junior linebacker, able to get him well behind the line of scrimmages. That's going to be close to an 11-yard loss. Or I take that back, close to a 6-yard loss there. But one of the things they teach is don't go backwards. It's not one of the things you want to do. It's going to get you further from the end zone. And in that case, the running back, his first carry, looking to try to do a little bit too much.
So Lill, again, 3 wide receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Has Williams in the backfield, looking to pass now over their outstretched hands, intended for Moraga.
And there, Leal, just a little too much oomph on the ball. As he tried to get it out to his receiver, who's listed as 5'8", and that ball looked like it might have been caught by somebody closer to 6 feet, maybe 6'1".
Yeah, he just couldn't get it. It just looked like that one just got away from him a little bit. Again, Gabe Lil, who's normally not the starting quarterback. That's Harley Armada, who, due to, I think it was injury, we'll get the exact injury, but Gabe Lil is now the quarterback running this Aztec offense. Lil's going to be a pitch out. Here's Williams trying to bounce to the outside, shows some speed to the 40, now the 45, and pushed out of bounds right near the 30-yard line to mark him out at the 31-yard line.
Now this brings up an interesting play here if you're going to go ahead and go for it. As it's going to be 4th and about a yard for the Aztec offense. But I'll tell you what, right there, Williams got almost all of that back in one shot.
Yeah, so it's going to bring up about 4th and a long 2 for the Aztecs.
Let's see if the southpaw can pick up the first down here.
It's going to be a pitch once again to Williams, this time to the left side. Picks up the first down, trying to get some more yardage, and it's taken down at about the 34-yard line.
There you go. As you got the crowd letting us know that it's a first down here. As we're going to go ahead and, well, the Aztecs will go ahead and get a fresh set of downs on the 25 of the Bulldogs.
They called a gain of 6 on the play there. So again, at the 25-yard line is the Aztecs' first drive of the game. Marching down the field, they are led by Gabe Lil on the legs of Charles Williams, who's in the backfield once again. Lil under center. Here's Williams up the gut, trying to bounce outside, shakes out of a tackle, taken down after a gain of 2.
Brought down from behind there. And so far we haven't seen any trickery from this Aztecs offense. They've attempted a pass, but have stayed on the ground for the most part. As they're inside, pretty good field position here. And one of the things we've seen is we've got a heavy dose of Mr. Williams here so far in this ball game.
Williams already has 4 carries in the ball game. First one went for a negative loss, but he quickly made that back up. Lil, once again, one wide receiver fully spread out with the hard count, trying to get the defensive jump. They don't. He resets the offense. Now it's going to be a pitch, and the up man hit it. It's going to be fumbled on the ground. Turnover on downs.
And just as you had mentioned, he's not the normal driver of the car that's known as the offense here. Lil made a pitch. There was nobody near the ball. As the Bulldogs of Klexico will go ahead and take over on offense in between the 26 and 27-yard line, their own 26, 27-yard line.
So now Klexico, like you said, will take over, ball on the 26-yard line. And pitching to the outside. Here's trying to get the corner. Big run again by Valdez. We'll see where they mark him out of bounds. Looks like it's going to be a gain of about 6.
Valdez set up on the near side, just off the line of scrimmage. Going to his right, able to get the pitch, turn up field, and come close to picking up a first down. And just as the Aztecs are relying heavily on Mr. Williams, Klexico is definitely showing that they're not shy and going to number 32, Gilberto Valdez.
Again, a bunch formation. Valdez in motion. Doesn't get it. It's going to be to the up back. Trying to break a tackle into the secondary. Still on his feet. Down at the 45-yard line. Great run there by Juan Carez.
One of the captains of this team. He also, not only is a running back, he goes plays both ways here. He goes as an inside linebacker and another one listed as an athlete here for the Bulldogs.
Called a gain of 8 on that play there. Ball at the 45-yard line now.
That run there by Mr. Cazares picks up a first down here for the Bulldogs.
And this time it's going to be a pitch one more time to Valdez along the right-hand side. Cuts back inside and is not going to get past the linebacking core, but he picks up about 3 yards on that play there.
There, the linebacker is able to kind of break through to the coverage on the far side and keep that run to a minimal gain. I'd say of about 2-3 yards there. But the Bulldogs here definitely marching.
Ball now on the 48-yard line for Klexico. Again, Klexico comes in 4-0 under second-year head coach Alan Heck. Team that went 0-10 last year, so they're off to an awesome start. Another pitch this time to Valdez, far right. And gets to the midfield where he's bumped out of bounds. So a gain of 2 on the play for Valdez.
Well, there, what's becoming a familiar theme here in this ball game, a pitch to Valdez. He picked up another chunk of yardage. And going back to Klexico in this season, you couldn't find much on him from last season, and maybe that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Going 0-10, but, being a 4-0 here so far.
So it looks like we have a penalty on the play. It looks like it was a chop block. So they're going to mark this one off.
Uh-oh, flag on the play.
And there you go, as they're going to go ahead and take a good
That was
chunk
15,
of yardage out.
Yep. So 15-yard penalty takes it back.
Yeah.
Now they'll redo this second down and long from the 33.
10, 21.
And this is one of the drawbacks of being a predominantly run-based, run-oriented offense, is not being able to pick up big chunks of yardage in one shot.
And back to pass, going deep. Again, looking for Munoz. Ball falls incomplete.
I tell you what, right there you had the receiver, double coverage. The ball was just held up here in this
swirling winds.
the Otai winds, if you would, here, as you had 2 defenders in unison, the receiver and the 2 defenders going down at the same time. Nobody able to come up and even make an attempt at that ball.
So it's going to bring up 3rd and 21 now for Klexico. Got to believe they're coming out of that bunch formation, or they may just try to gain a few yards and see if they can't get some space to punt, although they didn't punt on their first down. So a little bit wider formation, but still a bunch. Back to pass once again is Moreno. Going over the middle, hit as he throws, ball caught up in the air, and I think that one was picked off at about the 45-yard line. And it was picked off, and it was picked off by Alex Cervantes.
Alex Cervantes there in the right place at the right time as he comes up with the interception. And that ball was intended for number 32, Albert Valdez, who we've called quite a bit on offense here for the Bulldogs. Ball just underthrown or overthrown for number 32 there, but Cervantes in the right place at the right time. And I think this is the first time that we've been on the Aztec side of the field so far here in this ball game.
So Aztecs take over, and going to have a flag on the play. It's going to be a false start on the Aztecs, so that's going to take them back 5 yards.
Not a way you'd like to start off this drive, especially after picking up the turnover there. As you march back further into your territory. And in looking at the Klexico schedule so far and how they've got to 4-0, they've played mostly out in the desert region or in the eastern Imperial Valley of San Diego.
Gabe Lill under center, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Back to pass, looking right, throwing deep. Has a man sprinting down the field and unable to keep it in his hands was Austin Morga.
And I tell you right there, the receiver there, and you're taught if it hits your paws, that's a catchable ball.
Yeah, and again, Austin Morgan showed some speed there, the senior, the number 1 wide receiver on this team, and I know he has to want that one back. It's going to bring up 2nd and 15 for the Aztecs.
I guarantee you he'll be able to shake it off if they're able to win this ball game here tonight, but that's one that'll probably be replayed over and over in practice next week.
Again, 3 wide receivers to the right for Lill. Back to pass, looking right. Again, this time throws over the middle and bobbled and caught. That pass was caught by Jason Rodriguez.
The Aztecs they pick up a first down. Jason Rodriguez, the junior wide receiver, kind of played a little bit of hot potato there with that football, came down with it as they march in to Bulldogs territory here with a new set of downs.
16-yard catch there for Rodriguez. And Williams unable to get anything going on that play there. Actually loses 3 yards.
And I tell you had Marco Coronel, one of the defensive captains for the Bulldogs, in there in the backfield really, really quick, as well as Miguel Vizcarra, the outside junior linebacker. Almost as soon as that ball was snapped, they were already in Aztec backfield, making sure that play didn't gain any yardage. As a matter of fact, it lost him 3 there on first down.
So 2nd and 13 now. Back to passes. Lil looking right, pump fakes, and just through the hands once again of Morgan.
And one of the things with Leal as far as not running this offense on a regular basis is the consistency and just the kind of rhythm he would get with his receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it early on here, with the exception of that ball that just went off the paws of number 19 there, the receiver, Austin Morga. Everything else has been a little bit too high, maybe a little bit off the mark. And hopefully with a little bit more as the game goes on, he's able to pick up some kind of rhythm with his receivers, because they've been open for the most part on most of his passes.
This time they're going to pitch it to Williams, trying to get along that left side corner. He gets it, gets to the outside, down to the 30, makes a man miss, 25, cut back across the field, 10, 5, touchdown, Aztecs.
And there, the senior linebacker, a pitch to the far side. There was a little bit of traffic up there. He was able to elude some of the attackers, cut back towards midfield. He had one guy to beat, was able to outrun him. The sprint to the end zone from about the 15-yard line in went untouched. And we got Montgomery here up on the undefeated Bulldogs 6-0 with the extra point pending.
Big run there by Williams, 48-yard touchdown. Hit that corner, made a man miss as the extra point is up, and through the uprights it goes. So touchdown and extra point is good for Aztecs as they go up 7-0 here on PlayOnSports.com.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports. Schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. And I tell you what, Mr. Fields, that run there by Williams, that tired me out. So I might have to take myself out of a couple plays here, a couple of calls.
Yeah, Williams definitely. You can see that the speed, they really want to get him on the outside with all the pitches that they've been doing. That time he was able to run it in.
Well, everything for both offenses so far have been pitches to the outside. We've seen our share of sweeps. Nothing really up the middle for either team here.
So we'll see Andres Felix kicking it off for the Aztecs. And down to the 1-yard line is where that's going to be collected by Klexico. Out to about the 5, gets out to the right-hand side, still on his feet, cuts back inside to the middle, and finally taken down at about the 42-yard line. Great run there by Kevin Campos of Klexico.
And there, the senior kick returner kind of bobbled it there initially, right around the 1-yard line, able to collect himself and collect the ball up and set his team up nicely here as they're going to start just shy of the 36-yard line. And here with this run-based run-oriented offense, let's see if the Bulldogs are able to answer back.
Yep, Valdez just to the left of the running back. And now it's going to be a pitch instead to Gastelum. Gastelum to the 40, makes a man miss, still on his feet. Has blockers in front of him to the 50, pushes the line forward, and gets down to the 46-yard line. Good run there by Gastelum.
And right there, number 24, Gilbert Gastelum, listed once another athlete listed, a running back, outside linebacker athlete, the 5'7", 160-pound junior. There, and you got to like the blocking that was leading him down the field. Followed his blockers, picking up a good chunk of yardage, and that is one of the benefits of being a run-oriented offense, as you're able to kind of get used to the lineman in front of you, you get familiar with your blocking, and there, you couldn't have planned it or set it up any better.
Yeah, it's going to be a go down for a 20-yard run for Gastelum.
And I tell you what, while they're taking a break here real quick, I'm going to let you know that Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to other great links to great highlights on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us on Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter, and you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And alluding back to that last run, as they were able to pick up the first down, Yep. Klexico, just a quick pitch, run to the right by Gastelum, the running back, setting his team up inside Aztecs, inside of the Aztecs territory for the first time here in this ball game. As we've got a little bit under 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter, with Montgomery ahead 7-0 over Klexico.
And Diego Moreno back under center. Kind of a wishbone formation for Klexico. It's going to be a pitch one more time to Valdez, getting along the outside, flag down on the play. Makes a man miss at about the 45-yard line where he's pushed out of bounds. Short gain on the play, but we'll see what the flag is. Normally thrown that early, it's probably going to be a holding.
Whenever you get it thrown into that territory, and especially by the back judge there, somebody was holding when they shouldn't have been.
Up again, a chop block one more time on Klexico.
And if you're the O-line or offensive line coach for Klexico, this isn't the kind of thing you want to see out of your front five. Not taken too lightly, as they're going to march back into their own territory and try to keep it going here on offense from their own 40-yard line.
Up another 15-yard penalty. It's actually the third penalty now on Klexico, amassing 35 yards in penalties already in this first quarter of play. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter for Klexico. They're trying to get on the board to tie this game up after a big run touchdown by Montgomery.
And I tell you, there aren't many teams that practice a lot of plays on 1st and 22. But let's see if they did, or if they're able to get some luck on their side here on the road.
Again, back to pass after a play fake. Has a man, and he just over the outstretched hands of Gastelum.
And we haven't had to call many names here for either team on offense, as they pretty much have gone to their bread and butter. Montgomery with Charles Williams, and Klexico with Gilbert Gastelum here recently, but Alberto Valdez early on. And I don't think you're gonna see a lot of fireworks out of this offense through the air. It seems that both teams just kind of off on their passing, both quarterbacks.
Moreno is 0 for 5 in this ball game, again with one interception early. So back to under center again, back to pass, looking over the middle, flush out the pocket, gonna be taken down, sacked there by number 50, Sebastian Orozco.
And there, the junior defensive lineman able to get through the front five. As Moreno was setting up, he was looking to go deep, as he had the receiver sprinting down the field. Unfortunately, didn't get the kind of time he needed. And there, Mr. Orozco greeted him.
So it looks like they sacked him for right at the line of scrimmage. So we'll give him credit for the sack. Wasn't really a loss of yards on the play. So again, still remains 3rd and a mile for Klexico.
Well, 3rd and 29 here. And I tell you, I couldn't walk 29 yards without getting winded. So
back to pass is Moreno. Stepping up in the pocket. He's going to be hit again after a gain of about 3 yards from the play. So it's going to bring up 4th and 26, where they marked the spot.
Well, there was Cameron Bradley, number 60, and Sebastian Orozco there, who's no stranger to the quarterback, as he's able to get to him on back-to-back plays.
So we may see the punt unit now for the Bulldogs. If Kevin Campos goes back there, he does. Actually, that looks like Aaron Fernandez.
You've got some confusion there on the punt coverage team.
So Fernandez gets the punt. Deep, bounces out about the 25, and he touches it. And ball is loose on the ground, still loose, finally recovered by an Aztec.
I tell you right now, that the field so far, it looks a little bit slick, as we've seen slippage on a possible interception earlier on in one of Klexico's offensive possessions. But there, as the punt return to the up man, they're going up, trying to get the ball, slips, kind of tips the ball forward and bounced around. And it took a Montgomery bounce there, as they're able to retain possession and get things going here with about a minute and a half to go in the first quarter.
And they're starting on the 34-yard line. Will Montgomery and quarterback Gabe Lil. And again, getting the defense to jump possibly. And they jumped offside, so it's going to be another penalty by the Aztecs. I'm sorry, by the Bulldogs.
And so far, we've seen that familiar dance, the field position cha-cha, going back up front, but never to the side. And one of the things I've noticed, that even though Gabe Leal doesn't really have just a full comfort level of this offense, he's managed to get these guys to jump on sides at least 3 times here in this ball game.
Going to be handed off to the middle, has room, gets around the referee, now to the 40, to the 30, cuts back trying to make a move to get around his man, unable to do so. Marcos Mathis finally taken out of bounds.
And I tell you, Montgomery's making me look bad because I say, being a run-based team, you're not going to pick up big chunks of yardage on the ground, and they're able to get in close, I would say, to the on the 23-yard line of the Bulldogs. What a great run there, just to the far side. And they were just, I tell you what, just to the far side, able to elude all of the defenders. It came down to a one-on-one matchup, open field tackle.
Back to pass again for Lille, has a man deep. Fade, incomplete pass.
And there, number 17, Dion Moore, kind of outran the ball just a little bit. By the time he looked back and turned around to try to make a reception there, he had taken himself out of the play. But I think with a little bit more confidence here and with a 7-0 lead, the offensive coordinator for the Aztecs is kind of opening it up a little bit as we're starting to see a few more passes here on these later possessions.
Back to Lille. Going to be a handoff one more time. Busting up the middle and getting a first down on the play. And that was to number 44, Steven Pedroso.
And there, Mr. Pedroso right up the middle. Nothing fancy about that run as he had Bulldog defenders kind of hanging on him for the last few yards of that carry.
I got it.
And there, picking up another first down of the Aztecs as they starting from the 13. Here's a handoff up the middle.
Pedroso again was at the 12-yard line, gets to about the 6-yard line, so a gain of 6 on the play for him.
And with inside of a minute here to go, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. They're going right up the middle. They're back-to-back runs by Steven Pedroso.
So Lille with wide receiver spread out right. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Going near the line of scrimmage, referees are running in and going to be down at the 1-yard line. Looks like that was Marco Mathis.
And it looks like they're going to call it just short of the goal line. And here the crowd
couldn't quite make out the numbers, the navy blue into the night.
Well,
so at the 1-yard line is going to be kept this time by quarterback Gabe Lille, and there's a flag on the play.
As we had mentioned before, based on the geography there of this flag, it's going to go ahead and go against the Aztecs as they were about as close as you could be without picking up a touchdown. It's going to march them back a few yards. They're going to repeat first down here. Still goal to go.
So 5.9 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. And they're actually going to call a timeout. Timeout is taken by Klexico.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. And as we got a timeout here, Fields, I'll tell you what, they don't look like a 2-2 team here so far.
No, they're doing very well, and you know these two teams played last year where Montgomery won that game as well, but obviously with Klexico not winning a game last year, but Montgomery has a lot of success down here in the South Bay. You know, being in their league of the Metro Pacific League, they're expected to compete. You know, they expect to compete, and they're showing it very much so in this game.
Well, I tell you, no slouch in the schedule that they're facing is they face Bonita Vista. Unfortunately, was a loss for them. El Cajon Valley 30-7. That was a loss, but that was later reversed because of an ineligible player, as they were able to pick up a victory there. And then having to go to San Marcos, no easy task, as they fell there 41-14. But coming back last week, picking up a convincing win against Southwest, 21-7.
So now they're going to be at the 5-yard line. The Aztecs are, with 5 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. Pedroso is in the backfield along with Garcia. It's going to be Pedroso, and he's going to fall into the end zone, waiting for the signal from the referee. And they are going to say he fell at the 1-yard line.
I tell you, tough call there. If you're Steven Pedroso, you're saying, come on, give it to me. I'm out of breath here. I don't know if I got another run. But there's still plenty of downs to go.
Well, and that's actually going to do it for the first quarter of play. At the end of one, Montgomery Aztecs lead the visiting Klexico Bulldogs 7-0 here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. And as we end the first quarter here, what we lacked of fireworks in the or on the scoreboard, there's no shortage of plays that we've seen here so far on the ground, for the most part, from both squads, as they were able to just kind of move here and there, picking up positive yardage. But I think we've established they're workhorses for both teams. Steven Pedroso here closing it out and looking to put his team up by 2 scores here. He's pretty much taken over the running game for the Aztecs. But early on, and I don't think we should dismiss Charles Williams, because that run was worthy of a highlight.
Well, I don't know if Woodson got tired out, because he was on the sidelines for this entire drive now. So we'll see if he gets back in there. But Pedroso is still in the backfield. At fullback is Martin Garcia. And it's going to be Pedroso at the 1-yard line. Falls in. This one should be a touchdown. Referee signal, touchdown. Touchdown, Aztecs.
And there, as I'd mentioned before, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Steven Pedroso right up the middle, following the lead of his fullback. Takes the handoff from Leal right up the middle. It is 13-0 with 11:52 to go here in the second quarter, as they're looking to add to their lead with the extra point here. And I tell you, the Bulldogs have got to find an answer, and they've got to find it soon.
Kick, snap is down, kick is up, and Felix's extra point goes through the uprights. So our score now, with 11:52 to go in the first half of play, is Montgomery 14, Klexico 0.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games at YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
That's Ed Alcaraz. I'm Robert Fields. We're coming to you live from Al Prazak Stadium on the campus of Montgomery High School in San Diego, Imperial Beach, California. Beautiful night. As the sun has set, the nightfall has risen here. Lights are on. No better time for football than Friday night and under the bright lights.
And I tell you, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Pacific Ocean. And you got to like the views. Everything, like I'd mentioned earlier, great views here.
Sorry. Thank you.
As we're ready for the kickoff. And getting back to the ball game, if you're Klexico, if you are the Bulldogs here, you're down by 2 scores. But you still got pretty much 3 quarters of football to go. You got to start finding some answers here.
Yeah, they had 3 drives in that first quarter that went for naught, as this kick is taken at the 3-yard line, bringing it out and taken down at the 15. Great job there on the kick coverage.
And there, bobbling the second kickoff in a row, is Kevin Campos. Able to recover, but not as well as he did on the previous one, as he was able to get his team out to a little bit past the 35-yard line here. They're going to be just a tick over their own 15-yard line will the Bulldogs be. And let's see if the offense has triggered something in the defense here for the Aztecs, as they've got a chance to maybe put a stop to the Bulldogs here and try to go up by 3 scores.
So Moreno under center. Back to pass, has not completed one yet. This one is going to be intercepted and then dropped. Wow, Charles Williams had that in his hands, was ready to make a move to the end zone.
I tell you, he was sure-handed earlier so far on offense. And there, I think it was just a case of he had already seen the glory of hoisting that ball over his head and spiking it to the ground. As in this game, you can't take your eye off the ball. He did for just a split second. And where he had had a chance to put his team up by 3 scores, just that I had mentioned just a second ago, is going to fall for naught, as it's going to be an incomplete pass and second down here for Klexico.
Klexico is going to go back to the run. And looks like it's going to be Gastelum gaining a lot of yards on the play, as he picks up the first down on the play, gets it all the way out, looks like to about the 28-yard line.
And able to pick up a first down there for his offense. And making the stop there, Sebastian Orozco, or I should say the defensive lineman, the junior, able to bring the ball carrier down, but not before he was able to pick up a good chunk of yardage and get his team out close to their own 30-yard line.
14 yards is on the play, going to be run up the middle one more time. Ball is stripped loose, and it's going to be recovered by Montgomery. I tell you what, Williams is an absolute stud on defense there. He knew he can strip that ball, and he did a great job of stripping it.
Well, and one of the things you want to do is pretty much in any sport, you got to have a short memory. There, as he was able to almost pick up the interception just a few plays ago, went for naught, he dropped it, an incomplete pass. There, he comes up, strips the ball from the running back after a great gain to almost midfield, able to pick it up and give his team the ball back, and his team being the Montgomery Aztec. Let's see if they're going to have him in the backfield here. And it looks like they will reward him with a couple of carries here on offense.
Yeah, he took that last drive off, did Charles Williams. Ball on the 43-yard line. Back to pass, going deep, nobody there. So Lil was looking for a zag, and his receiver zigged. and
I tell you, that never works out there when that happens. That's not how it was drawn up, I'm pretty sure. As you had Chauncey Emerson near the middle of the field there, looking up, and you had the ball towards the far sideline. And not a good combination when you're looking to complete a pass there. When your receiver's at least 15 yards from the ball. Makes it a little hard to catch.
So it brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Aztecs. Ball on the 43-yard line. And looks like we're going to have guys jumping again, but this time that's going to whistle for a false start.
And sometimes that cadence there will work against you. And unfortunately for Leal, it did. As they're going to go ahead and get his team to move back closer to midfield here, and it's going to bring up 2nd and 15 here.
11 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first half of play. Montgomery Aztecs up 14-0, looking to increase that lead, going the wrong way after that false start penalty. Lil back under center, 3 receivers to his right. It's going to be a pitch out once again. Here comes the speedy Williams. Has going to the right side, pauses for a second, and near a first down marker at about the 35-yard lines where he's taken down.
And there, what we've seen, what has been the theme of this ball game, when in doubt, run it. And there they were able to do it, but no celebration, as it looks like they're going to continue their march back into their own territory. And we might know what the reason was to that great run.
Yeah, it looks like it was a holding penalty there. So another 5 yards, back they go. This time ball on 46-yard line. So 2nd and 20 now for the Aztecs. When you got the speedy Williams, he may be able to make that up, but we'll see if they go through the air with Lil. Lil is going to pass, going to be a quick little screen. Did that pass go? Nope, incomplete pass. Again, intended for Morga.
And there, Austin Morga looked up. The ball was about 2 yards behind him. And it's all about getting that rhythm, the quarterback to his receivers, the quarterbacks, the pitch to the running backs, the center quarterback exchange. These are all key pivotal things that the quarterback's got to be able to get down and get some kind of rhythm.
And we have another timeout on the field, this time taken by Klexico. You're listening to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school football, playoff, and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
That's Ed Alcaraz. I'm Robert Fields again on the beautiful campus of Montgomery High School, San Diego, California. High school football as the Montgomery Aztecs Division III Metro Pacific League battling up against Division I from Imperial Valley, Klexico Bulldogs. Klexico comes in with a record of 4-0, while the Aztecs are 2-2. And the Aztecs are under first-year head coach, Coach Jeremiah, and he has his guys playing pretty well tonight.
So far, and it's what you can do to get your players to buy into the system, buy into what they're doing. They start to see success, and here, this is definitely going a long way in their confidence as they're up by 2 scores.
And again, a quick pass. Has a man. He's going to be caught. Looking for a blocker. He's going to keep it. And still on his feet. Still running his Morga down to about the 20-yard line. And they're going to mark him at the 19.
And they're going to let us know, like I said, the crowd, it's a first down here. And for Klexico, Juan Cazares, one of the captains, and Javier Solorio, one of the other captains, one of the inside linebackers there, able to bring down Morga as he set up his blocking downfield. He's got his team inside the 20 of the Bulldogs.
It's going to be a pitch this time to Williams along the right-hand side, trying to cut back to the middle. Still on his feet, going to be taken down at about the 11-yard line. So gain of 8 there for Williams.
And as you see there, a pitch to the left side, to the far side of the field, to Charles Williams. He was able to stop on a dime, look downfield, kind of see where he had an opening, moved forward, and picked up 8 there on the first down. And as you had alluded to, Coach Ted has his boys believing, and his boys being the Aztecs, as they're deep inside Bulldogs territory here with 9:40 and counting to go here in the first half.
2nd and 2. It's going to be a handoff up the middle to Pedroia. Still on his feet. It's going to be gang tackle now. Very close to a first down. It's going to be short, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 1 now for the Aztecs.
And they're not as successful on the run. As one of the several Bulldog players in on the tackle was outside linebacker, the junior, 5'8", 170, Nathan Herrera, number 31. Able to prevent Pedroso from getting any further, and that's no easy task as he's pretty much run at will here so far in the second quarter and pretty much ending the first quarter as well.
And looks like we're unable to get a man off the field. I think we had 12 men on the field for Montgomery. Oh, actually, nope. The flag has been picked up.
They're going to go ahead and wave it off. And you don't see that very often, I'll tell you. And as you kind of think about it, maybe these past few weeks in the NFL, there should have been more of that. But here at the high school level, they recognize when there's a bad play.
Lil on 3rd and 1. And looks like that was a botched snap there. And it's going to be a fumble on the play by Lil, so recovered by Klexico.
And there, as we saw so much positive coming from the Montgomery offense. As I alluded to, the center quarterback exchange, pivotal.
That's Lil's 2nd fumble of the game. So inopportune times where he just couldn't handle the snap there. First one was on a bad pitch. So we'll see if Klexico can answer back.
And if you're going to take a positive away from this and kind of move it away from the negative there, the Bulldogs are kind of pinned back, almost on their own 10-yard line here to start their drive.
And it's going to be a handoff. Busting out of the backfield, still on his feet is Valdez. Near a first down. Still running now, busting through. I don't know how that happened, but he got all the way to the 29-yard line. He was stopped for about 7 seconds in one spot.
And here's one of the things, as a running backs coach, as an offensive coordinator, you teach your backs. You keep those legs moving until you hear that whistle or until you go down and you're on the turf. And there was just a perfect example of it. Alberto Valdez took that advice to heart and gained a few more yards after what you said was a 7-second delay. And there, Mr. Valdez given a handoff on first down, and it looks like he's going to pick up
about 2 yards on the play.
A couple yards there. And from one running back into the other running back's arm, Steven Pedroso was able to bring him down.
Yeah, that play was very it was almost as if everybody was just waiting for the referees to blow it dead. Everybody was standing up, and all of a sudden, Valdez still keeps his feet moving.
I tell you, this is the game you don't take your eyes off of for 1 second.
Back, and it's going to be inside handoff this time, and not getting much yards on that run there.
And there you get 5, 6, maybe even 7 Aztecs in on the tackle, as they were not fooled by the draw play there for the Bulldogs. And it's going to bring up, I'm saying, what, about 3rd and 5 here, Fields?
3rd and 5 for Klexico, 7:20 to go in the first half of play.
And one of the things is that both teams are pretty much run-oriented. As you're gonna run out of gas a little bit more than you would if you were facing the pass.
This one is heavy to the left. That's where they're going to go. This one's pitched to Gastelum. And it's going to be whistled dead.
And the fact that the Bulldogs are already marching back is going to tell you that somebody which is a little bit too anxious on that offensive line to get the play going. And they're going to repeat 3rd down here with 10 yards to go to pick up the first down.
So we're at the 29-yard line. 3rd and about 9.5. We'll call it 10 for Klexico.
And what has seemed like an eternity here so far, it seems like we started this ball game a lot longer than just a quarter and a half ago.
Moreno under center, back to pass, going deep down the sideline, and I don't think the receiver knew the ball was in the air. His hand was still up as the ball was soaring through the air, intended for Gonzalez.
And there, as the receiver and the defender were near the 40-yard line, the football was landing at the 35.
Yeah, he just kind of turned and said, I'm going to throw it to a spot, and the receiver still had his head in the backfield. I don't think he even located the ball in the air.
And I think you can attribute that to, if you were playing Madden football, you just hit a wrong button right there. Not intended for anybody. That was just a throwaway.
So it's going to bring up a punt now. It's going to be the second of the game.
And here, as a player was coming to the near side for the Aztecs, trying to get off the field, doesn't look like he was able to do it. That sprint, or they might have been. They called a timeout as the referees are picking up their flags.
So it's going to be timeout taken by Montgomery, trying to set up a possible punt return here. So we talked about the passing, and that was going to be an issue. We have to watch that. Diego Moreno's 0 for 6 in this ball game, and honestly, a lot of them haven't really been close. And then for Klexico, they have to improve on that if they want to do well in this game.
And I think one of the solutions, if you're putting me in the position of head coach or even offensive coordinator, I won't even take full credit as being the coach, is one of the things that you can do to remedy this. One of the easy fixes, you are getting time. You are getting that push up front, as evidenced by some of the running plays that they've had that have gone for long gains. I think here what you're able to do is you got to get your receivers to kind of get an angle, just quick little slants, just setting something up that's gonna be a high percentage play. Maybe not necessarily in yardage, but putting the ball from the quarterback to the receiver's hands. If you can get that going a little bit, that's going to go a long way, to me anyway. And if either one of these teams is able to be successful,
so maybe like a screen play or
they're able to get a screen play, just a quick little slant, playing some out in the yard kind of football.
As this punt dribbled down and now trying to throw, it's going to be intercepted. And Aaron Fernandez for Klexico just didn't know what to do with that one, so he threw it away. And it was intercepted by Pedroso.
I'll tell you right now, Steven Pedroso is playing like this is his football. Personally, like he brought it, and this is the only ball we've got here tonight at the game, as his hands have been all over it. And there, a botched punt. The punter looking to play the position of quarterback, just tossed it up, a bad play. And it landed in the hands of the linebacker there, Steven Pedroso, who now, on the other hand, is going to play the position of running back.
Well, it looks like Williams is back there now. We'll see when Pedroso comes on the field. And it's going to be a pitch right to the Williams. Going to be taken down in the backfield. No, still on his feet. At about the 40, going backwards. Going to reverse field one more time and all the way back down to the 47-yard line. Huge loss on the play there as they started on the 28.
And there we just saw Charles Williams able to elude tackle after tackle. But as he was kind of going backwards until the play finally ended up with a huge loss here for the Aztecs. We got the referee picking up a flag. And I think he's they kind of got a quick penalty flag hand here tonight.
So it's going to go down as a negative 17-yard loss.
Let's see if the Aztecs are able to rebound here on first down or second down. And
it's going to be an inside handoff to a sweep. Still on his feet, running down the field. Has a little bit of room is Morga. Morga to the 10, to the 5. Beats a man to the end zone. Touchdown, Aztecs.
And there is a classic example of a running back following his blocks, able to get past his blocks in the open field and just outrun the defenders for Klexico. And there, Mr. Morga up the near side, putting his team up by 20. 21 pending here. And I don't think we saw this. We envisioned this kind of game here this evening as Klexico came in undefeated against a 500 2-2 Aztecs ball club.
Snap is down, kick is up, and through the uprights it goes. So 21-0 is our score now. As you're listening to PlayOnSports.com, your home for Friday Night Football.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, and they give you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games at YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action you see every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And I tell you what, that run was just something pretty.
Yeah, Austin Morgan, normally wide receiver, is taking a couple of handoffs. Two runs for 82 yards for Morgan already in this ballgame. 45 yards on the touchdown run on that last play there. So he's taking these sweeps and getting plenty of blockers and getting up the field.
Well, I'll tell you what, I ran for 82 yards for my entire career, but I did it on 82 carries as well. He did it on 2. He's got me beat by 80 there. But that's all the math we're going to do here is we're going to go for a kickoff from Montgomery to Klexico.
And Klexico going to get it at about the 5-yard line. 32 is Valdez, still on his feet. Now he's going to try to reverse field and has a little bit of room. Turn on the speed, cuts up field down to the 35-yard line where he's taken down.
And they're trying to take a page out of Charles Williams' book. He had a little bit more success there, and that was Alberto Valdez. We called his name quite a bit in the opening quarter. Not so much here for Klexico, as they've kind of gone away from Mr. Valdez and have used a host of others, as well as Gilbert Gastelum in the backfield. We've also called Javier Solorio's name as well, but they're on the kickoff. Not bad at all, as he's got his team out to the 35-yard line to start this drive.
Another tight formation for Klexico. Moreno, it's going to be handed off to Gastelum. Still on his feet, into the secondary, shaking the arm tackles, down to the 50-yard line he goes, gaining 15 on the play there for Gastelum.
And just as I call his name, the coaches did as well. Gilbert Gastelum right up the middle. And they're going to go ahead and put it right on the middle of the Aztec logo at midfield.
So 5 minutes and 25 seconds to go, and there's another flag on the play.
Now what? Timeout? What is that?
This came.
They're going to go ahead and call it on the Aztecs.
So I think they're calling that the team is too close to the sideline. So it's just a delay of game. So still 1st and 10 from the 50 for Klexico. It's going to be handed off to Gastelum once again. And he's going to lose a yard on the play.
And that's not something you see called very often. It's just something that they're really keeping an eye on for one reason or another. They like to just keep everything tidy, maybe to avoid injury. We're not going to question it too much. Anyway, we won't. Because up here, we play head coach, we play athletic administrator, as well as we play official. And there, like I said, they've scooted everybody back behind the line of scrimmage.
It's ball on the 49-yard line for Klexico, 2nd and 11. It's going to be a quarterback keeper this time for Cortez. Came in as a kind of a wildcat quarterback. Picks up about 2 yards on that. Might call it 3 yards on the play for Cortez.
And I've never been a big fan of trickery or the wildcat or stuff like that, especially if it's going to gain yards in minimal increments. And there, to me, I think, you've kind of have the Aztecs kind of fallen back a little bit. And I think it's time for one of these teams to kind of, well, not so much for the Aztecs as they're up by 3 scores, but more for Klexico to maybe try something to air it out. And even if it's not a complete, maybe you're lucky and you get a pass interference play down the field. But
well, it may not be much of a wildcat because Cortez is still in there at quarterback, under center this time. It's going to be handoff, going to be botched. Cortez covers it up, but after a loss of about 8 yards on the play.
And there.
So it brings up 4th and 16.
And I tell you, I understand because of the turf, you might have slippery feet, but that's no excuse for the hands or the lack thereof that we've seen here so far in this first half, as both teams have kind of played hot potato with the football. And there, just a knuckleball to the near side.
As that punt is going to roll down near the 20-yard line. It's going to be stopped at about the 24-yard line. And that's where Montgomery will take over on downs with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go in this first half of play.
And I tell you what, Robert, there's not many times you're going to see the quarterback or the starting quarterback downing, or I should say one of the quarterbacks there, more of an athlete, Aldo Munoz, number 15. But for some reason, I seem to think it was Gabe Leal. But that's not correct, as he's going to break the huddle.
Yep, he's going to bring out this Montgomery offense. Williams in the backfield, 4 wide receiver set. The speedy Austin Morgan along the left side. It's going to be Morgan. Ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage and intercepted. Great play there by Adolfo Ortiz.
And there, that ball just too low. Poorly thrown as they were looking to go to their bread and butter here in the first half. To Mr. Morga. Not to be, as they're able to pick up the interception, the Bulldogs are. And they're going to get this ball in great field position as it's inside the 20-yard line to start. It's going to be the 18-yard line here of the Aztecs. And let's see if they're able to capitalize, if this is exactly what they need to try to get back in this ball game. That's pretty much a gift that was given to them.
And it's going to be handed off to Valdez. Gets pushed out of bounds. Looks like they're going to mark him at about the 12-yard line. So a gain of 6 on the play.
And there, after initially just Valdez hitting the pile that was in front of him, kind of able to turn direction there, come to the near side, and pick up 7 yards there on that carry.
So Valdez in the backfield again. This time, hands going to be to Gastelum. Trying to bounce up to the left side. Switches hands with the ball to the 5. Not going to get around the corner, but he will pick up the first down for Klexico.
There, Charles Williams on the tackle of the running back, and he was able to kind of close off the corner over there as he was looking to bounce it outside and maybe turn it up, but not to be, as the Aztecs pretty much sealed the far side up near the end zone, inside the 5. And it's going to bring up goal to go with 4 yards to go for the Bulldogs as they're looking to try to get on the board here in the second quarter of this ball game.
Ball on the 4-yard line. This time here comes Valdez all the way along the right-hand side, tackled into the end zone, but not until he scores a touchdown. Touchdown, Bulldogs of Klexico.
And there, just a very simple play. He kind of bounces to the outside, coming to the near side. and able to get past the defenders. And I tell you what, we've seen everything so far here on the ground. Anything that would be worthy of a highlight, or the highlight reel, I should say. As we've got a potential to have 28 points here on the board, which is respectable for a high school ball game. But we wouldn't say that it was either team is airing it out.
Snap is up and kick is through the uprights. It's good. So with 2 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first half of play, Montgomery 21, Klexico 7.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
That's Ed Alcaraz. I'm Robert Fields coming to you from Montgomery High School in the San Diego section. We have a tilt between the Imperial Valley Klexico Bulldogs driving in to face the Montgomery Aztecs. Klexico comes in with a perfect 4-0 record, being tested early here as they're down by 2 touchdowns now in the second quarter.
And if you had to say who was the 4-0 team on this last series of plays, you would definitely point to Klexico, as they showed, you know what, we're going to go ahead and bounce back and get back to within 2 scores of the host Montgomery Aztecs.
Klexico did a great job on that last drive there of realizing that they were trying to do the quick bubble screen and then intercepting it. Now to kick. And it's going to go through the back of the end zone, so it's going to be a touchback. So Gonzalez kicks that out of the end zone. So Montgomery will take over at the 20-yard line. 2 minutes and 53 seconds to go.
And I tell you there, Gonzalez, that was just a pure soccer kick. He was able to get that well into the end of the Aztecs there, their side of the field. And I tell you, that can be one of the major weapons for most high school teams, is to have a kid that's got a boot on him. You're not going to find, I'd say maybe 30 to 40% of the teams in the San Diego CIF section that can boast a kicker that could maybe make a 30, 35-yard field goal. And there, Gonzalez showed his leg strength as he's got the Aztecs starting off on their 20.
And here's Williams busting out of the backfield to the 35, 40, has the speed, now to us at 40, into the red zone, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. And there's a flag at the 20-yard line. Looks like this is going to be holding.
Geography, wherever you're going to find that flag, especially where it is inside the 20-yard line. Goes to tell you that the back judge saw something he didn't like, or saw something that wasn't supposed to happen, as it looks like Charles Williams' 80-yard run, and an impressive one, as he just, I'd say about the 45, 50-yard line, made it a sprint as he shot by everybody to get into the end zone. It's going to be all for naught, as both teams are marching back near the original line of scrimmage. And I tell you, it's sad when you waste a pretty run like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a push in the back that's going to bring this outstanding run back.
And even on the top levels of the professional levels of this game, most of the penalties that happen that take away these big plays are either away from the play or senseless. And there, I got a feeling with the speed of Charles Williams, it probably wasn't necessary to push anybody in the back.
Only the 3rd penalty of the game for Montgomery, so done pretty good job, but just unfortunately got a little bit eager on that block there. So we'll see how Montgomery responds now. Lil under center. Instead, it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Busting loose once again is Morgan.
You've got to like the tandem of Morgan Williams coming out of that backfield. And even though you're up by 14 with the capabilities with Morgan Williams to increase that on any given play, I'd like to see them open this up a little bit more, show that they're multifaceted on offense.
Morgan picks up 16 yards on the play.
Maybe spread the offense out a little bit, as they've got receiver to the far side and one to the near.
So 2nd and 4 now. It's going to be a pitch over to Williams along the right-hand side. See if he still has a little juice left. Cuts back across field. freezes a couple defenders, and then is going to be taken down at about the 19-yard line. That's some running, and I chuckle because you almost this guy thinks he's almost playing a video game there because he had a little bit of room along the right side, decided to cut back. In the middle of his cutback, he freezes, trying to put a juke move on a defender, and then goes down for a loss.
And I tell you, on that play, nobody came out of their cleats as they were able to kind of follow him and get him back to the original line of scrimmage, which would be the 20-yard line. And there, I think we've seen Charles Williams run for more yards up and down the field as opposed to forward.
Yeah, he's east and west runner by trade because they're doing so many, strong pitch right, strong pitch left. And somebody got to tell this kid, hey, man, north and south, get your shoulders squared up and hit the hole like you did on the 80-yard run.
Exactly. I don't know if it's legal to put a compass on anybody's helmet, but he's definitely a candidate for it. I think he's got just as many yards upfield as he does from sideline to sideline.
So 34.3 seconds to go, and Montgomery's going to take a timeout here in the second quarter, trying to draw something up, see if they can't bust a big play. They have the big play ability with Morga and Williams, although Williams' last two official carries have gone for losses. So we'll see if he bounces back or if they go one of these inside handoffs to Morga.
And I'm still lobbying for opening up the playbook and getting some air under that ball into a receiver's hands. But it doesn't look like anybody's listening to me as they continue to stay on the ground, both teams, here in the first half. And I tell you, the band's right beneath us, and
they're jamming out.
Yeah, they are. I wonder if they take requests.
So ball's going to be at the 20-yard line for the Aztecs. It's going to be Lil under center, I formation, one wide receiver to the right, one to the left. And back to pass, held it for quite a long time and just kind of threw this one away. I don't think a lot of people are on the same page on that play. He faked it to one of the running backs and then kind of stood and then just decided to let it go.
And he had time to make a play there. He had a receiver, I won't necessarily say wide open, but within the vicinity of that he could have gotten the ball to. And I think there it was just a blown assignment, or like you said, a miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback. And we've seen that here tonight from both sides. And that's one of the things I think going into halftime you kind of talk about is, hey, the zig and the zag. We got to both we got to both be on the zig or on the zag, but it can't be 50-50, or you're going to come up with a lot of incompletes.
So Montgomery's going to punt, and there's going to be a flag thrown here. I think it might have been one too many men on the field for Klexico. Referees are still kind of counting guys. If I'm one of these Bulldogs, I'm scooting off to the side, saying, no, I was on the field.
You might even want to put two out there. Get two off. Say, look, we were underneath the limit. No penalty on us.
So that was the penalty, in fact. So they're going to march off 5 yards. Still fourth down. We'll see if that changes the philosophy for Montgomery. It does not. Still has the punt unit on. High snap, back to punt. It's offside of the foot. It's going to squeak out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
And there, not much difference from the first one. And I tell you, just looking to the near sideline here for the Aztecs, number 65. And this young man's name is Jose Enriquez. He's a junior offensive/defensive lineman. Got an interesting haircut there. It's got red like the uniform. And I don't know if the coach has told him to put his helmet on maybe to avoid a penalty. And then we got another one, number 40 down there.
It's two-tone.
He's got the school colors. That kid is very, very into the school colors. That's Anthony David, the senior linebacker. So back to the action on the field. I'm kind of get
Klexico takes over on the 45-yard line.
Don't mind me.
Ed admiring the scenery here. It's going to be a handoff to the up man. Gastelum still on his feet trying to duck out of bounds. He does so we'll stop the clock at 14.2 seconds.
And he pulls up about a yard short of the first down as it's going to be 2nd and 1 here for the Bulldogs. But smart play by the running back, Gastelum, to get out of bounds. Not trying to do too much. He saw that he had defenders in front of him, scooted out of bounds, as it's going to be a 2nd and short 1. And I don't know if you're going to try to get in position if you're the Bulldogs to try to kick a field goal, maybe to take few points off of this lead if you're going to go all out and try to cut this down to a one-score game.
Cortez again to Castellan. And not going anywhere as clock continues to wind.
That's going to get you a flag right there. A little bit of aggressiveness there by number 44, Steven Pedroso.
And Pedroso was pushing and pushing and pushing as the referee was blowing the play dead. It's going to be a personal foul. So it's going to be a positive. So that's going to put them near field goal range. And we were watching them warm up earlier. They got their kicker, Kevin Campos, was doing a great job of kicking. So it's going to be a first down with a 15-yard penalty on Montgomery.
And that's unique of Kevin Campos. He's the kicker as well as the kick returner. And you're not going to find that very often. But he has excelled so far at both.
So it's going to be a timeout taken this time by Klexico. 7 seconds to go in the first half of play. And that was their last timeout. So I wonder if they're going to give it a boot from here. The ball is at the 29-yard line.
And I tell you right now, over there on the sideline and then that huddle, you're gonna get guys talking their best, trying to convince. And since this is a election year, I got a feeling they'll rival most politicians in that huddle, saying, "Coach, I know we can make it one play. That's it. We're gonna get in the end zone. I guarantee it."
I think it goes in the books as a 46-yard field goal from here. We'll see if that's what they're going to do or if they're going to try to maybe take a heave towards the end zone. Again, we had a quarterback change for Klexico. Anthony Cortez is now playing quarterback instead of Diego Moreno.
And with Cortez in there, we haven't really seen the arm strength. He's not gone deep downfield yet since he's.
Instead of kicking, they're going to run a play here.
Here they go.
So no timeout, so it won't be a field goal attempt. So they're going to try to get something going to the end zone here. And now it's going to be a pitch. Going to be Esterno Gonzalez running a halfback pass.
I think there was some confusion there by number 13. Ernesto Gonzalez, as he was the halfback throwing the pass, but maybe he forgot and thought there was going to be another halfback out there.
I mean, he threw it to clear across the field where nobody was there. So he was outside the numbers, so that's what they wanted.
And that might have been that Ernesto Gonzalez was assuming that Ernesto Gonzalez was going to be out there on the play, out there in the flat, pick up the pass and maybe go upfield. And here we got 0.2 seconds. We got enough for one more play.
So we'll see what they trot out. Maybe they'll take an E. Nope. There's going to be a field goal attempt. And this one is Ernesto Gonzalez.
Going for a 47-yard attempt right here. Oh.
Bad snap. Gonzalez has it, still on his feet. Trying to call for a couple of blocks and won't get any. Gets out of bounds, and that's going to do it. The end of the first half of play. Host Montgomery Aztecs on top 21-7 over the visiting Klexico Bulldogs. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Montgomery High School in San Diego, California. I'm Robert Fields alongside Ed Alcaraz. Our halftime score is 21-7. Montgomery Aztecs on top of the visiting Klexico Bulldogs. And Ed, what are some of the things you noticed there in that first half for both these teams?
Sloppy first half offensive play. We saw a lot of fumbles, a lot of passes just off the mark. And I think even though they're up by 14, if you're Montgomery, you want to kind of tighten up that offense a little bit. You're in a position where you can do what you do best, which is run, take some time off the clock. But in doing that, you've got to continue to either put points on the board or sustain long drives. That's pretty much the same thing, the same blueprint you're going to find for the Klexico Bulldogs as well.
Just some of the quick highlights. Klexico has 131 yards rushing. Montgomery has 184 yards rushing. So it's really been all about the rushing, not a lot of passing yards through the air for either ball club. Montgomery has 51 yards, and Klexico has yet to complete a pass in this ball game. So for Klexico, do you abandon the pass now and just exclusively go to the run game?
I think if you're Klexico, you need to go to the pass. I think you need to kind of get away from what you're doing. Only scoring 7 points and down by 2 scores, you're definitely going to need to move that ball through the air. It's not something that you're necessarily going to be able to do on the ground because you haven't been able to do it with sustained success in the first half. If you're Montgomery, I think you're afforded that luxury of keeping the ball on the ground because you definitely have 2 capable running backs, as we've seen so far here from the first half.
Yeah, those 2 capable running backs are Austin Morga, who has 3 carries for 98 yards, and also number 25, Charles Williams, who has 9 carries for 50 yards. And Williams has had a lot of yards, but he's also had a lot of negative rushing yards, so that's why you say 9 carries, 50 yards. I thought he already was well over 100 yards. Well, he would be, but he's also had a few pulled back due to penalties and other reasons, so to speak. Well, for Ed Alcaraz, I'm Robert Fields. We'll be back with the start of the second half coming up shortly. It'll return in just a few moments right here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. You're watching the PlayOnSports.com presentation of Friday Night Football, live from San Diego, California. I'm Robert Fields along with Ed Alcaraz, where the Montgomery Aztecs are leading 21-7 over the Klexico Bulldogs. Second half underway here, and it's going to be a dribbler of a kick. It's going to be recovered at about the 2-yard line, and that was Emerson. And takes to about the 16-yard line where Montgomery will take over on downs.
And they're not exactly where you want to start to get going here on offense, but I'm positive that the Aztecs are going to take it. They're going to take the score as well. It's 21-7 to start the third quarter. And I think one of the things that you want to do as well that I didn't mention in the halftime kind of recap there was if you are on Montgomery, you want to play as close as you can to a perfect second half. No turnovers. It's one of the things that would kill either of these teams to happen if it were too much here in the second half.
And again, a hard snap count by Lil, I'm sorry. And it's going to get the Bulldogs to jump off sides, so we're going to get easy 5 yards for Montgomery. So the first penalty of the second half on Klexico brings it to 1st and 5. And here's Williams out the backfield, not getting very far. So takes it to about the 24-yard line. Huh.
And they're a 5-yard gain. Nothing to write home about, but definitely you're going to take it if it's a positive gain there. As they're able to pick up 5. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 5 here for the Aztecs.
4 wide receiver set. Play action. Rolling out is Lil. And throwing with his left hand and just kind of threw that one into the dirt. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 5 now for the Aztecs.
And they're the front 4, able to defeat the front 5 of the Aztecs. Able to put pressure on the quarterback as he was flushed out of the pocket to the far side. Being a lefty, unable to turn his body to be able to square up and make or put any oomph in his throw as he one-hopped the receiver. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 5 here for Montgomery.
3rd and 5 from the 22-yard line for the Aztecs of Montgomery. Lil under center. Play action, nope. It's going to give a handoff to Williams, still spinning around. Into the linebacker, very near a 1st down marker. We'll see if he picks up 5 yards on that play, and he picks up 6. So going to be 1st down for Montgomery.
And I tell you what, I'm no math major, but 6 is better than 5.
6 is better than 5.
And that's going to go ahead and get a 1st down here for the Aztecs. And they're just a power run up the middle as they did everything they could to try to stop him. And they being the Klexico defense, but not enough as Williams was able to stretch his jersey out and kind of pop away from the defender and pick up a 1st down.
Back to passes, Lil once again rolling out to his left. And he's going to throw a floater in the air, and it's going to be dropped. The intended pass was dropped by Jason Rodriguez.
And there you go. Able to just kind of elude the rush as he was coming to the near side. But unfortunately, all for naught for Leal as he was unable to connect with the junior wide receiver, Jason Rodriguez there.
Rodriguez is going to steam about that one on the sidelines. Brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Aztecs. It's going to be a handoff up the middle and not gaining much yard on that run. And Pedroso gets no yards on the carry.
And they're a familiar name and number that we've called here this evening, Steve Pedroso. Not able to do much there on that carry. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for his Aztecs.
So ball on the 28-yard line for the Aztecs. I formation, Lil under center. And it's going to be a handoff once again. And big collision by the linebackers. They look about a gain of 3 on that play there.
And a hard-fought 3 there for Steve Pedroso. And getting back to, we're going to go back even further in the ball game where Charles Williams dropped what was for sure at least a huge gain. I won't necessarily say a touchdown, but a great gain as the ball bounced off his hands. He was able to rebound and end up getting into the end zone for his own 6. But it just seems that they're out of sync, as well as not necessarily the quarterback, but the receivers as well.
So punt is off, end over end. It's going to bounce out about the 45. It's going to be taken by the up man. And that is Fernandez, and he is taken down at the 40, so negative on his return. They'll mark it at the 42-yard line.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports broadcast program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So taking over on the 42-yard line is Klexico. In at quarterback is still Anthony Cortez. Cortez with a little bit of that wishbone formation. It's going to be given to, and that was carried by Valdez. And he gets no gain on the play.
And there, you got to like the tackle by Jamie Arredondo, the senior wide receiver / linebacker.
So 8 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the third quarter play. Klexico, first drive of the second half for them. Cortez under center. And it's going to be another handoff to the running back. Once again, Valdez. Valdez picks up about 6 yards on the play here.
And there you had Alex Cervantes and Charles Williams on the tackle, but not before Montgomery was able to pick up 5 yards on that second down run. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 here. And I think this is more than anything, you would like to see him open up, but they're still setting up in that bunch formation.
Yep, bunch formation once again, as you said, 8 minutes on the clock. Handoff once again, this time to Gastelum. Gastelum very close to that first down marker, but they're going to mark him short, so it's going to bring up 4th and about 2.
They needed to get to the 48 there, and it looks like they're going to mark him on the Aztec side of the 50, but not by much. You're going to bring up 4th and a long one for the Bulldogs. And I think right here, I mean, this is kind of a gray area for them, and especially being down by 2 scores. I think you take a chance here. They show that they have been able to run with success. Let's see if they can call the right number, the right running back here, and pick up a first down.
Cortez now gets under center, gets everybody set. And it's going to be a handoff to the up back. Looks like that was Juan Cazares. Cazares picks up that first down, ball down to the 46-yard line.
They needed 2, they got 3 there. Or I should say they needed 1, and they got, I'd say, closer to about 2.5, 3 yards there on the play, picking up a first down. And so far, about 5 minutes have ticked off here in the third quarter. And if you're Klexico, I'm not necessarily going to say this is where you want to be, but it is the fact that you do want to have the ball and you are driving to try to close this gap of 14 points here in the third quarter.
Now the play action, looking to go deep. Down the middle they go, and incomplete, intended for Ernesto Gonzalez.
And there Gonzalez, stride for stride with the cornerback. And when I mean stride for stride, they were stride for stride. There was no space between them.
After pounding the run for about 6 plays, Klexico then throws out the play action. That one was almost a timing one. It was so quick. I don't know if Cortez really even seen Gonzalez get open.
Well, there Cortez just didn't get enough air under that ball, as he put it well out of reach of both the defender and his receiver.
So Cortez get back to the line of scrimmage once again. Ball on the 46-yard line. It's going to be a sweep this time to Gastelum. And a flag comes in. And we have an injured player possibly on the field for Montgomery, as Rodriguez is still down.
Isaac Rodriguez down, and that's right around the vicinity. And I wish I could tell you that was the first time we would be calling a chop block here. It's happened a few plays on both sides of the ball.
Rodriguez is in some pain down there, immediately threw off his helmet.
And I tell you, that is one of the plays in football that not only is it a no-no that you don't want to teach or you don't want your players to execute, but can cause great damage in a short amount of time there. As we've got Isaac Rodriguez, the senior, here kind of just being tended to. And
the referees did signal that chop block, so another 15-yard penalty once again for the Aztecs.
That'll move them back into their territory.
It's the 3rd chop block called on Montgomery of the game. They're really racking up the penalty yards.
And I tell you, when you add up the penalty yards and you're losing in the giveaway takeaway, it's not a recipe or not an equation you're going to want to be or put yourself in a position to be part of. And unfortunately, fortunately for Montgomery, they're still managed here to be up by 14 with 6:39 to go in their third quarter. And when we do resume play, which we're hoping is going to be shortly, as they tend to Rodriguez.
Yeah, you're talking about the penalties for Klexico. 7 penalties for 65 yards. Again, 3 of those being chop block variety.
There we go.
Sorry. For 45 of those 65 yards.
Well, the good news is from our vantage point here, it looks like they're able to move his legs around. They're still connected, folks. That's always a good sign. No leg just lying there near the 50-yard line. It looks like they're going to try at this point just to sit him up. And Rodriguez is no small kid, as he's able to kind of sit up there a little bit. They're kind of tending to him. Now they're able to get him up, as you're going to hear the cheers from the crowd. And it's, well, from us, we're glad to see him up, as he's going to hop off the field, one-legged. He's going to get off the field here. And that's always a positive sign, as he's shooing everybody away, and he's going to make his own way as he hops on over to the bench. And I'm sure they're going to continue to tend to him here as we're going to resume action. Once again, we got a 21-7 lead here for Montgomery with 6:39 to go in the third quarter. And Klexico is looking at a 2nd and 25 after that penalty. They're on their side here. I think closer to the 37, their own 37. Let's see if the Bulldogs are able to.
It's going to be a pitch this time to Gonzalez, looking for a halfback pass. Has a man open, backtracking, catches it, does Munoz to the 5. Touchdown, Bulldogs. How about that? He was moonwalking as he caught that pass and takes it into the end zone.
There, he turned around and played center fielder for that deep fly ball, was able to catch it, turn around, beat the defenders, get into the end zone, and cut the deficit to 8, pending 7 with the extra point. And I'd been saying it and saying it and saying it, and maybe somebody finally heard me, that they needed to open up the passing game. And it's beneficial twofold, because if you're able to open up the passing game, it's definitely going to help the run game. It's going to keep the defense honest, and vice versa. Because if you're able to run, you should be able to open up the pass. And there, a little bit of trickery as Klexico digs deep. The halfback pass.
And then Gonzalez knocks in the extra point as well. So now the score is 21-14. Montgomery on top.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. So after that long touchdown pass from the halfback to the receiver, I should say the center fielder for Klexico, Aldo Munoz, number 15, the senior athlete is what we're going to call him, because on that play he definitely was athletic.
Yeah, I think that goes in the books for a 63-yard touchdown pass. That was some bomb that they threw there.
And I tell you, Aldo was, pretty much we were all sitting here, wait for it. He was able to catch it, turn around, and still defeat 2 defenders on his way to the end zone.
So now Klexico back to kick, and it's going to be returned by Montgomery out to about the 25, where he's then thrown to the ground.
And one of the things we're going to see here is how the Aztecs are able to bounce back, as Klexico's been able to chop into their lead that was once 21-0. It now stands at 21-14. And let's see if the Aztecs still have any of that momentum from their 3-score lead, now cut down to a 1-score lead. As we hear the crowd here below us, they're fired up, they're ready. They want to make sure that their home team here can keep the ball and try to get on the scoreboard one more time.
Montgomery is going to be inside handoff and trying to take it about 4 yards on that play there. Looks like that was number 52, Sergio Ortiz. No, correction. Martin Garcia.
Martin Garcia there is
playing
Balls up.
fullback for Montgomery.
And as the ball brings up second down.
And this time it's going to be to Williams. He dances in the backfield. It's going to be taken down for no gain on the play.
There is he. He's on the right side of the 30-yard line. We'll bring up 3rd and 6 here for the Aztecs. And even though they're pretty deep in their own territory here, Robert, I think you kind of take a play, you kind of go into the playbook of Klexico and keep that defense honest and let them know, you know what, we're not just going to run. We can definitely air one out. And you may be thinking, okay, well, Ed's biased and he likes the pass. I definitely do. I make no denials of that.
Back to pass. This time over the middle is going to be cut by Morga. And he takes it down to about the 46-yard line.
And I'll tell you, that was one of the defense, offense, and special team stars, Kevin Campos, on the tackle there. And if Campos doesn't make the tackle, Morga's got a long way to go in putting his team up by 2 scores, but not the case, as Campos was able to make the tackle. And afterwards, I'm sure he, as he was raising his arms and kind of looking at Morga as he was heading back to the huddle there.
And nearly sacked in the backfield, but gets the handoff off. And that was Alex Cervantes.
There, and we've got an Aztec player down, and
yeah, that's the quarterback. That's Leo.
He was hit. The ball was already handed off. He didn't even get a chance to turn around and look at his running back heading upfield. He was smashed by the nose tackle. And he's kind of shaken up a little bit there as he's going to come out.
And Leo, remember, is already the backup quarterback. As on the sideline is Harley Armada in khaki pants.
And so you got Nate Aragon coming in.
So Nate Aragon up from the junior varsity. Looks like he's going to be the man taking over this offense, running under the center.
And if it's a smart bet here, he's going to see, or he's going to be making a handoff if this is going to be his only play under center.
3 wide receivers to the right with the hard count, trying to get his man off sides. Nothing there, so he steps back. A little Peyton Manning action, talks to the wide receivers. Back under center he goes. And it's going to be a handoff. This time, Cervantes busting through to the 10. Tackle down at about the 9-yard line.
And I tell you what, that little Peyton Manningism there definitely threw a little thrill or a shock in the offense. Has Cervantes right up the middle for a huge gain. That's Alex Cervantes there. All 5'8", 150 pounds of him right up the middle, just like he was shot out of a cannon. And he sets his team up inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal here to go for the Aztecs.
Cervantes in the backfield once again. And not going anywhere there. Right back to the original line of scrimmage.
They went to the well-known as Cervantes again there, and he was met by 2 defenders. And I don't think they were being any kind of rude as they told him, no. You stay right there. And that he did, as it's going to bring up 2nd and goal here. Goal to go for the Aztecs offense.
So I formation for the Aztecs. Ball on the 9-yard line, 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Nate Aragon under center. It's going to be a handoff to Pedrosa, I'm sorry. Pedrosa gets about 4 yards on that play there.
And I'll tell you what, the ground beast known as Steven Pedrosa right there cracked through the front 4 of Klexico to pick up some yardage. Now it's going to be 3rd down, and regardless of the yardage, it's goal to go. And let's see if they're able to get something going here.
Pedrosa in the backfield. See if Aragon maybe throws a little fade right here. And he's going to be sacked. Great pursuit there by Klexico. Getting off the line is Javier Solario, captain for the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you what, number 23, the senior linebacker, We could see it all the way from up here. He was chomping at the bit to get into that backfield and get his hands around the makeshift quarterback, number 89, Nate Aragon. And there is, he wrapped him up in the backfield, laid him out for a loss.
So it looked like we may be going for a field goal attempt here from the 7.
And there, if they make this, they're up by 2 scores again. And give the Aztecs a little bit more breathing room as they try to go to 3-2 on this season.
25-yard field goal is up, and looks like it goes through the uprights and good. So 25-yard field goal is good for Felix.
Andres Felix there. He just cannoned that one in between the uprights as he puts his team back up by 10 with a minute and a half here to go in the third quarter. An impressive drive after the injury to their starting quarterback as Nate Aragon, up from the JV, able to guide the team and set this offense up to put 3 up on the board. We don't know the seriousness yet of the injury to the quarterback, Gabe Leal, but he was not in for the rest of that drive. So we're going to wait to see if Nate Aragon is going to be the quarterback from this point on out. But what we've seen, Robert, out of this right now, out of this last drive, the kid looks more than capable of running this offense.
Did an excellent job on that drive and spot duty. And a little bit of a squib kick is going to be taken by the up man. Actually, he lets it go through his hands. Now taken at about the 18-yard line. And down to about the 26-yard line goes Klexico and Kevin Campos.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Klexico is going to take over on the 33-yard line. I'm sorry, 28-yard line. 1st and 10, minute 20 to go in the third quarter. It's going to be a quick pitch. And it's going to be Gonzalez on the carry as he's taken out of bounds after picking up a first down. So Gonzalez is responsible for that last halfback pass, now picks up a first down for Klexico.
And there, just a pitch. Catch by the running back from the backfield to the far side, able to kind of get around the corner, pick up a first down.
14-yard gain on the play, ball on the 42-yard line, minute 16 to go in the third quarter of play for Klexico. Can they bounce back? Down 10. Another pitch. This time it's in the hands of Gastelum. Gastelum still on his feet. Down that sideline he goes. A little bit of speed. Did he step out of bounds? He did. Referee's blowing it dead back at the 45-yard line.
And I tell you, an impressive run from Gilbert Gastelum. We haven't called his name for a little while here in this ball game. But there, he's not going to let us forget it on that run as he was able to turn up and pick up another first down for the Bulldogs as they're marching in to Aztecs territory.
So 12-yard run there by Gastillo. Once again, Klexico's picking up the tempo a little bit. Gastillo along that left-hand side, spun down after about a gain of about 4.
And there, that run as we're closing out the third quarter, not for as much success as the previous two. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 6.
So 2nd and 6 for the Bulldogs. Again, under a minute as the clock is winding. Center quickly rushing to the ball. Maybe try and get off another play here. Anthony Cortez talking to his running backs in the backfield. There's 3 of them back there. Guarantee this play's probably going to the right the way they're lined up. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. He sprints through the defense down to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cortez and the Klexico Bulldogs.
Just like that with a quarterback keeper. The quarterback just sprints right up the middle untouched into the end zone as he cuts the lead to 4. Pending the extra point, we're going to be separated by just a field goal here. And as they say, Robert, don't go away.
42-yard run there by Cortez. I think he really caught the defense off guard with the quick snap. Next thing you knew, he was passing by the umpire and the safeties as he took that one into the end zone. 42-yard scamper for the touchdown. Extra point. Snap is down and kick is up through the uprights it goes. So almost near the completion of the third quarter. Our score is now 24-21. Montgomery hanging on for dear life.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all your high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So Klexico starting to show some of the reason why they are 4-0 as they have battled back and have cut this lead down to 3 here.
Well, what was once a 21-0 lead for the Aztecs is now still a lead, but down to 3.
And a kick is in deep and is going to go into the end zone, so unable to be returned.
And here we've got to see if the Aztecs can steal back any of that momentum that Klexico is just pretty much just manhandled and taken away as they've closed the gap to just a field goal, 24-21, with 17.9 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And one of the things you got to ask yourself if you are the Aztecs, this team came in 4-0. We were beating them. We've been beating them this entire game. We've still got 12 minutes and 17 seconds to go here in this ball game.
And
we got enough to hold them off.
Looks like Lil's back at the quarterback position for the Aztecs, sending a man in motion. It's going to be a toss right. And this is Williams. Williams still going north-south. A little bit of a late hit, but they're going to let that one go. So it picks up about 9 yards on the play there, does Williams.
And there, the defensive captain, Javier Solorio, just a tad bit, just a tick late on that hit. As Williams was already down, the side judge right there, right on top of the play.
So they're going to call it a gain of 7, actually, for Williams. And that's going to end the third quarter of play. At the end of 3, Montgomery High School Aztecs at a field goal. They're up 24-21 as Klexico opened up and scored 14 points in that quarter. Here on PlayOnSports.com, your home for Friday Night Football.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff sports, championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
So Montgomery on top, 24-21. Half possession of the ball. We'll see if maybe they try to march down the field and burn a lot of time on this drive here to start the fourth quarter of play.
Okay, so we're going to equate this to pretty much the last round of a good boxing match here. They're just exchanging blows. We're going to see if what's going to be the team left standing.
Ball on the 26-yard line for Montgomery. 2nd and 3. Back to pass is Lil. Throws over the middle. And pass is going to be cut. By Rodriguez. His second catch of the game is going to give them a first down.
And going back in at quarterback, the one that was able to throw that last pass there was Nate Edegon. As he's behind center, calling this offense, running this offense.
So back to pass again, throwing over the top, and that one's going to be incomplete. And you are correct, that is Aragon still back there.
Trying to get the ball there to Jason Rodriguez. He one-hopped him. The defender not far behind. As he was able to get one of his hands on it before it hit the turf. And I think maybe they're thinking that the spark here that drove them into the end zone last time is what they're going to look for here out of Aragon.
Yeah, as Lil is on the sideline, still getting his right ankle wrapped. Aragon under center, 3 wide receivers to his right, 1 to his left. It's going to be a pitch to Williams. Williams trying to get that outside. He does get it. Has a few blockers in front. Decides to cut back around midfield. Has plenty of room. Down to 35, 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Charles Williams with a huge 68-yard run for a touchdown. Big time play by the Aztecs.
I will tell you what, something right now. That's some fancy footwork and some speed to boot. Good handling there as Charles Williams was kind of pinned in the backfield, able to elude one of the defenders. He came to the near side, was able to elude another defender, and it just pretty much became a track meet after that as he cut back towards the middle of the field, right around the 40-yard line of the Bulldogs, and went across the field. And we talked about how this guy likes to east-west, but there it actually came up as a score, as he's got a chance with the extra point here to put his team back up by 10, as we've got a player down for the Bulldogs right around near their 40-yard line. And looks like they're going to go ahead and call in a timeout here as they tend to their player over there.
They have a injured player on the field. The training staff is out. Touchdown puts Montgomery up 30-21 before we try the extra point attempt. And players sitting up now. Can't quite make out the number. I don't know if that's Ernesto Gonzalez or not.
Hey, stop it. There's somebody.
And
You don't clap because he's on the field.
I think that was Gonzalez. Yep, that was Ernesto Gonzalez, who was the last man. He was the safety back there. And as Williams was cutting across the field, he reached out for his ankles and just couldn't grab him. And Williams took that one to the house.
And I'm just still in amazement of that run there, as he was able to just kind of, as we talked about in the passing game, the zig and the zag. You got to be on the same page. There, Williams didn't need to answer to anybody. He zigged and he zagged the way he wanted to. As he we're going to put that run at what? 65-yard run.
68-yard run.
68-yard run.
Up and in good. Score is now 31-21. Montgomery Aztecs on top of the visiting Klexico Bulldogs.
And I tell you what, I'm still in awe of that play there. You're not going to see. There are a few runs you're going to see better this season that have happened or will happen here in the CIF San Diego section, because that was a heck of a run. There were at least 3 times he should have been down. And he tiptoed, he sprinted, he pretty much did everything you ask from your running back out there on the field. And just that quick. We've talked about how they have the 2 home run threats in the running backs in Morgan and Williams. There, Williams showed why he deserves to be called a home run threat, as he took it to the house and puts his team back up by 10. A little bit of breathing room here with 11 and a half minutes to go in the ball game. The Aztecs up 31-21 over the undefeated Klexico Bulldogs. And I tell you what, one team's not really showing why they're 4-0. The other team that's 2-2. And there's a squib kick right up the middle. It's kind of bouncing around. And we're waiting to see who came up with it.
And ball is loose, and it's going to be retained by Klexico. Last rush put Williams at about 131 yards rushing on just 12 carries. So he's having himself an outstanding ball game from the line of scrimmage as a runner.
And that squib kick that just occurred, it isn't necessarily saying that that's what he's only capable of doing. But I think you were looking to catch Klexico off guard.
So 11 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the fourth quarter of play. Klexico had a great third quarter, and this is a pitch this time. And still on his feet, still running, shaking a tackle is Valdez down to about the 28-yard line.
There, Valdez refused to go down until he decided, or the Aztecs defense finally was able to wrap him up, as he's able to get down to the 27-yard line. And that was a heck of a run. And here, as I mentioned before, kind of a prize fight, as you got 2 fighters standing in the middle of the ring, just exchanging punches.
Yeah, Valdez picks up 24 yards in that play, and Montgomery's going to call a timeout. Maybe they were a little too excited off that Williams play, They came back and got kind of punched in the mouth on that run there by Valdez.
And I tell you what, not to take anything away from Valdez, I got a feeling you're right there. I think the electricity just, it fired him up. It got the adrenaline going. But you still got to remember, you got to come back and play defense on this. You got to prevent. The job of the defense is to stop the offense. And they weren't able to do it, as Valdez was able to get a huge chunk of yards and put his team in really good field position here on first down. And on that run, Valdez didn't do anything too fancy, too flashy. He pretty much took the ball, tucked it in, ran, and said, "Tackle me." And they weren't able to do that until he got to the 27-yard line. And I tell you what, I take back what I said, that there couldn't be fireworks in the kind of ball game without passing. Well, we've only seen one passing touchdown here so far in the 52 points scored. But I'm kind of being swayed that maybe a running game is essential in the game of football.
Klexico, strong backs to the right. It's going to be thrown to the right. I'm sorry, it's going to be handed off to the up back. And still on his feet is Cazares. And he's near the end zone, bounces around. He gets in. Touchdown, Cazares. 38-yard touchdown. How about this second half? Explosive plays on both sides of the ball. Juan Cazares, 38-yard touchdown for Klexico Bulldogs.
And I tell you what, all I can say is, well, there you go. We're going back and forth. Not much else you can say about it. They're going to close the gap, pending the extra point, back down to a field goal. And still plenty of football to go here.
Snap is down, kick is up, and nearly blocked, and that one is good. So with 10 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the ball game, back and forth they go. 31-28, Montgomery on top of Klexico.
If you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the one you're watching here tonight, tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Klexico's last 3 drives have resulted in touchdowns, a long pass, and 2 long runs. For Montgomery, they had a long run by Williams and a field goal. That's their last scoring. So Klexico, they might have found the bread and butter to get them going, as they have not been stopped here on their last 4 drives, actually.
And one of the things at this level is the incredible amount of endurance and energy you're going to find from running backs. But they're, so far, what we've seen, they're able to boast 3 deep, that being Klexico.
And now, how about more fireworks? That's bringing us out of the end zone, still on his feet. I believe that was
a name we haven't called much, Austin Morga.
Yeah.
That kid hadn't done much today. He's been kind of lazy. But I'll tell you what, he made for it right there.
Yeah, I don't know why it slipped my mind. He's been all over the place. I got him starred on my roster. He's a star out here, and I looked right over his name as he's taking that back. He takes it all the way back to the 41-yard line, does Morga.
I guarantee you everybody here tonight will have at least dropped 1 or 2 pounds just from all the running that's going on the field. And some of that by Mr. Austin Morga. And there we go.
As Williams loses a yard on the ensuing handoff.
I tell you what, not just the defenses can get punch drunk here at a ball game. It happens to even the broadcasters up here. We're looking for the smelling salts.
Yeah. I know that guy. He's been doing a lot this game, hasn't he?
When in doubt, we refer back to the broadcast training that we got, and you say, that guy who's done a lot here tonight in the ball game. But we've got it under control. We've got his name, Austin Morga.
So back under center is Aragon. Throws a pass. This time it's going to be caught by Rodriguez. It's going to be a gain of about 4 on the play.
And there is Nate Aragon's going to go ahead and come on out. And I take that back. He just came over to grab a couple of notes, couple of plays that maybe they're going to have him call, as he's provided a spark as he's taken over the quarterback position here for the Aztecs.
Yeah, Gabe Lill is on the sideline. See, he is up walking around a little slight limp. But Aragon, again, a third-string quarterback. Man in motion, pitch out to Williams along the left side. Cuts back inside, spins down. Is going to be falling short. Gain about 1 on that play.
And I tell you, one of the things that you've got to be impressed with number 89, Nate Aragon, coming up, not necessarily just coming up from the JV, but how he's able to handle this offense. He's just showing just kind of poise back there as he's handled snaps from the shotgun position. He's gone under center.
And now looks like he's the long snapper on the punt team. So nice deep snap. Kick is off, and it's going to bounce around. It's going to be a good punt right in the red zone down to about the 15-yard line where Klexico will take over.
And there, what was kind of a high snap, the kicker was able to kind of corral it, bring it back down. The kicker being Andres Felix. Number 88 there kind of sidestepped the rush that was coming in. Able to get the kick off. And they're going to pin the Klexico Bulldogs back to their own 14.
So Klexico scored on their last 4 drives to give them their 28 points. See if the magic is still flowing within them. Another handoff. This time into the hands of Valdez. Breaks into the secondary. Still on his feet all the way down to about the 42-yard line. It's almost like a boxer with gaining energy and gaining stamina as the fight goes on. Big run there by Valdez.
And there's nothing special that this kid is doing. He's just putting both arms on the ball, making sure he's got it covered up, and putting his head down and moving those legs forward.
Call that a gain of 27 on the play. Ball from the 42-yard line. Again, Valdez. This time he's going to fall down for a gain of about 3.
And if some of you are thinking, well, you know what, Valdez gets slowed down, who could they turn to? Well, you still got number 24, Gilbert Gastelum. And you can also throw into the mix Kevin Campos. He's got his hands on the ball a couple times. And then again, one of the captains of this team, number 33, Juan Cazares, has gotten positive yardage and good carries from the backfield for the Bulldogs. So there are definitely options aside from Valdez if they need to go to him.
And this time it's going to be an inside handoff. Just barely got that play off. And it's going to go for no gain as the defense was in the backfield on that one.
And there, Edgar Zamudio was kind of wrapped up and held down on that play. And one of the things that kind of looked like was more of a rugby circle than anything you'd see here in American football. That said, you got 3rd and 9 here, which usually a passing situation. As Klexico setting up with just a receiver up top.
And it's going to be a handoff. Valdez falls forward. Gain about 3 yards on that run.
And there, Valdez giving the carry, hoping that he would be able to bust loose as he has a few times here in this ball game. Not the case.
So this is a big 4th down for Klexico. 4th and 4. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the 4th quarter of play. They've been successful their last 4 drives. Can they keep this drive alive? Will Montgomery get a stop? Under center, hard snap. No, nobody moves. Then rises up and calls a timeout. Does Anthony Cortez. So he'll go to the sideline and speak with Coach Heck and see exactly what they want to run here.
And there they were just looking to be able to try to draw the Aztecs off sides. It wasn't successful. They called a timeout. You got a 4th and 5 here. You've got 6:24 left on the clock, and mind you, that is plenty of time. That's a chance at least for another full, maybe even 2 quick possessions if you're able to stop the Aztecs, if you are to give the ball back. But one of the things you got to keep in mind here is the lack of the passing game. They do have a long-range pass for a touchdown, but it was on a trick play. You're not going to be able to continue to go back to that on a regular basis or even one more time in this game. So if you are Klexico, the question I put to you, Robert, do you kind of just maybe dig a little bit deeper, as I've been saying, into that playbook and maybe spreading this out a little bit and try to get a quick score?
Well, the way Alberto Valdez has been running the ball, I'd say just give it to him and let your playmakers see what they can do. He's had an outstanding game rushing. He's in the backfield with two other running backs. Another tight formation, no wide receivers. Couple of tight ends. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. Here comes Cortez along the outside. He's not going to pick up that first down as Williams pushes him out of bounds.
And there, Mr. Do-It-All for the Montgomery Aztecs here tonight. Well, I should say one of several who's pretty much played the role of doing it all, Charles Williams.
Oh, and there's a flag on the field. It's going to keep the ball in the hands of Klexico. Looks like he push in the back on the defense.
And there,
you normally don't see defense with a block in the back call, but that's what it was.
And there, I'm at a loss to try to find out where exactly. I won't call it a phantom call, but since I didn't see it, I can neither confirm that it occurred, but they're closer to the field and to the players and to the action than I am. So as they march the Bulldogs into Aztecs territory, here with still plenty of time to go, the clock's still running at a little bit over 6 minutes to go here.
It's a ball on the 43-yard line. Cortez gives it to the up back. That's Cazares.
As they're both, like I'd mentioned before, two prize fighters standing in the middle of the ring, just exchanging punches. And in a game like this, you would like to see it decided by both teams and not have anything taken away by the officials, but infractions will happen.
So Klexico stayed alive on the penalty. Now at the 39-yard line, 2nd and 6. Cortez under center, 3 wide receivers to his right. Sends a man in motion. He's going to keep it himself, trying to bust through the middle again. And he's going to pick up a few yards on the play there.
And they're able to pick up
3 yards.
And on the stop there was Francisco Mendez, defensive tackle, the senior. Keeping Valdez from picking anything else up on the keeper, or Cortez, I should say.
So Cortez again under center with the jumbo package to his right. It's going to be handoff to Valdez. Valdez hasn't been touched yet. Now touched by a linebacker as he gets down to the 21-yard line. 15-yard gain for Valdez.
And there, junior linebacker Michael Alvarez, number 46, able to get his hands on Valdez. And I tell you, he doesn't look like he's got deceptive speed, and it's maybe necessarily that he doesn't. But Valdez is able to those first few steps, he kind of gains that momentum.
Yeah, it looks like it was just
the sneaky speed there.
So he had an injury time for the ref as he winds the clock back up. Under 5 minutes to go in this ball game. Klexico is marching down by 3 on the edge of the red zone. Jumbo package to the right once again for Klexico. It's going to be a quarterback keep by Cortez. Runs over one lineman. Picks up a few yards on the play.
And there, Michael Alvarez once again making a tackle, but not before. He was kind of dropped more than making a tackle there for the Aztecs, but needless to say, it was able to stop the play. And as the clock ticks here, you're looking at 2nd and 5 on the 17, so they are going to be able to pick up another first down within this. And if you're Klexico, you're definitely moving the ball, but at your pace.
Cortez, Valdez running through the line. Valdez still on his feet, down to the 2-yard line. Power running by the Bulldogs.
And right there, just good old smash mouth football. Hand it off to the running back. Let him do the rest right up the middle. And those legs are churning. They're moving. You're not going to be able to tackle this guy high, tackle him high and bring him down. As it took a host of Aztecs to bring him down just short of the goal line, as it's going to be first with goal to go on the 4.
Valdez bounces around, gets hit at the line of scrimmage. Referee is pointing him down at the 1-yard line.
And
so
we've seen that a couple of times here this evening where the referees with their eagle eyes getting players to stop just short of the goal line. As here is, you're looking at the clock ticking, 3:21, 3:20 And Klexico knocking on the door. There's not much further they need to go.
Klexico can really take their time here looking to punch this one in. Again, trying to keep their perfect record intact. Anthony Cortez, backup quarterback in the game. He's going to have a pitch. No, it's an option. Keeps it himself. And I think he's actually going to lose a yard on that play there.
Looks like they kept him short. They moved him back a couple of feet on that one. On the quarterback keeper, he was looking to try to punch it in. He called his own number there.
So instead of on the inch yard line, they're on the actual 1 yard line now. So 2 minutes and the clock continues. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Clock continues to tick down. And now we'll have a timeout on the field. Timeout taken by Klexico.
So as we just as we're recapping the action that has really picked up here in the second half, we've seen Montgomery's lead go from 21-0 to 21-7. Well, with 21 to, I would say 24-21, excuse me. And then 28-21, 31-21, and then Klexico able to come back and throw another running touchdown on the board to close the gap to 3. And Klexico's got a chance here to take the lead for the first time here in this ballgame with 2:29 to go in the fourth quarter. If they're able to punch it in on 3rd and 2 from the 2-yard line. And we're hoping, if you're the Aztecs, you're hoping that they're able to make a stop here. But even a field goal ties this ballgame. And as the clock continues to tick, how much time will be left for the Aztecs to either try to regain the lead?
So Cortez under center, again 1 yard out from the touchdown. Valdez untouched, touchdown. Bulldogs. Klexico has taken the lead late in the fourth quarter of this ball game.
And that's the thing, and that's the type of play that makes you a 4-0 team. They're up 34-31. If they add the extra point, a field goal doesn't do anything for the Aztecs. If they're able to march down the field and try to get themselves in a position for something. If they're able to make this extra point, if you're the Montgomery Aztecs, you've got to march down the field and put a 7 or at least a 6 on the board to come out victorious here.
And snap is up, kick is up in the air, and it's up to the uprights. It's good. Our score is now 35-31. Klexico on top of the Aztecs.
And if we're recapping here, I'm making you Coach Fields right now. What if you're the Aztecs? What are you doing here?
You're giving the ball to your playmakers, the guys that I can always remember. Of course, you're giving to Charles Williams for one and Austin Morgan, and let these guys try to do something. As Morgan's running back, he's going to be one of the guys receiving the kick, as well as Chauncey Emerson going back there. So you're hoping that Morgan gets you in good field position, and you just take it down there and try to get something going.
66 points total on the board, 45 here in the second half. As what was kind of a sleepy first half now becomes an exciting, sizzling second half here.
So it is going to be in the hands of Morgan from the 5. Has the little blockers up midfield.
We've got a flag.
A little bit. Still on his feet at about the 30 and gets down at about the 37 as their flag, like you said, was on the field.
Flag thrown a little bit after Morgan was able to get the ball into his hands. We're going to wait to see. And Morgan almost came up just a few yards away from the actual flag when all was said and done. The referees confer, and we're waiting to hear what the call is going to be here. As the Aztecs offense waits to hear.
And now a blocking in the back on the receiving team. So for the Aztecs to be successful, they're going to start 15 yards back from the end of this run.
And that's not how you wanted to get this drive started. But then again, the 27-yard line, it could be worse. As you've got to march 73 yards here.
And you got a sophomore leading the charge, Nate Aragon. Starting at the 27-yard line. 4 wide receivers set for him. Ball may be in the air. And he's looking to pass. Under pressure, and down he goes. Really, if you're Coach Jarabian, do you need to go deep right away, or can you afford to put in a few runs there?
I think you, as you mentioned, you continue to put it into the hands of your running backs, the duo back there that's gotten everything done and are responsible for a majority of the points that are on the board here for you. There was no need necessarily to try to get it all back in one shot.
Yeah, I looked on that play. Everybody was just running sprint or full on deep. Now it's going to be a pitch to Williams. Has along the left side. Getting in the playmaker's hand. He bounces to the outside. Steps out of bounds. Gets a little bit past the original line of scrimmage. Out to about the 31-yard line.
And that's what you needed to do, I think, on the previous play rather than to have Nate Edegon try to drop back and go deep. As you said, he had all receivers going, just sprinting down the field. Klexico picking that up, knowing as their front four was able to muscle their way past the front five of the Aztecs and get in and get the sack. And it looks like we've got another penalty here.
Yeah, so this run is going to come back once again for Williams. Another block in the back on the Aztecs. Going to push them all the way back to the 10-yard line.
The good news is you repeat the down, which will make it second down, but now you've got to get out to the 37-yard line from your own 10. So it's going to be 2nd and 27 for this offense with a third-string sophomore quarterback back there. If you're looking to make this dramatic, there's not much more you can do if you are Montgomery.
That's just the way they drew it up. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right, 1 to the left for Erdogan. Back to pass. And he's going to go down in the end zone. And they're going to say forward progress stopped him at the 1-yard line. Wow.
No, they're not going to say that he was down in the end zone. As we're going to have an injury stoppage of the clock here with 1:24 to go. They're going to say that the ball is going to be just shy of the end, between the 1 and the 2-yard line.
Yep. So it's not a safety. Ball is down at about the 2-yard line where the initial hit occurred. And looks like Aragon is still down on the field. So now comes back your second-string quarterback who's nursing an ankle injury, and Gabe Lill. He's out there getting loose, talking to the referee, talking to his coaches. To Coach Jeremiah.
And you've got Klexico, Division I, coming out of the Imperial Valley League to face Division III out of the Metro Pacific, Montgomery. And we've had about as good as a ball game that you're going to get here. And you can hear the crowd below us, quite vocal.
They're trying to cheer on their injured sophomore quarterback.
Trying to get him up by the power of vocal persuasion here.
So 1:24. Nate Aragon down in the end zone after getting sacked at about the 1-yard line. Then the rest of his progress took him backwards. Luckily for Montgomery, they didn't call it a safety, so they have a little bit of life left.
Well, you asked if it could get any more exciting, and I don't think you can get any further back distance-wise. 1:24 to go. You're down by 4, and you've got pretty much 99 yards to go. And you're going to have to do it with your second-string quarterback who's nursing a bad leg. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up there.
Yep.
You're going to ask him to drive the team pretty much the length of the field. And we haven't seen him put the ball up in the air. And it's a good sign here as we see Nate Aragon being helped up.
Yeah, and if I'm Gabe Lill, I'm on that sideline. I'm getting loose. I'm trying to throw the ball a little bit. You know, I know it's during the injury stoppage, but he's going to hobble back out.
And I tell you what, the adrenaline's going to lessen that limp with each step that he takes back there, because every kid plays in their front yard from Pee-wee football up to this level so far. This is the position, if you're a quarterback, you want to be in and you want to get the job done.
Well, I think from watching this game, there's one guy that can pick up enough yards to maybe even get a first down again, a 2nd and 27. One guy on the field on the side of Montgomery that can pick up this first down. You got to believe that's Charles Williams.
As we've seen him, and I'm just going to refer to him as the home run threat for this Aztecs offense.
The thing is, he has so many runs called back due to penalty. So we'll see if he has a little bit of juice left in his tank.
And I tell you, if I'm a blocker and I see him run by me, I just drop to the ground. There's no way I'm going to touch another defender for fear of being called for a push in the back.
Not putting any pressure on that right leg. And they're going to bring out the cart actually for him so he won't have to hobble off any longer. He can have a seat and drive over to the sideline.
And not that I can relate directly, but I did overeat at Barona's Buffet one time. They had to get a chair with wheels and kind of get me out of the way of the line there. So I do know that side of it. It's tough. Never made it to the dessert section, but I'll tell you what, I was a gamer.
Ed Alcaraz, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm reliving bad memories here, folks. I'm sorry. But the good news is Nate Aragon is up on the cart. He's moving.
So as the refs whistle for the time to start, minute 18. Back in the ball game, Gabe Lill, junior quarterback. Bad will and all. 4 wide receiver set. And looks like it may get a little bit of room. Or do we have a false start? Referees come in to confer. Both people jumped. Both teams jumped. And it's going to be offsides on the Bulldogs. So they get a little bit of breathing room. Ball on the 7. 1 minute to go. Back to pass. On his back foot. Throws a bullet. Nearly cut. Lil intended for Morga.
And as you had mentioned, you want to get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. There, just fraction of centimeters of inches off of putting the ball into one of his playmakers there that would have definitely put them in a better position rather than 4th and 27. Right. And here, if you're Klexico, you got to be bringing the house.
Yep. Comes down to this for Montgomery. And they're going to take a timeout to discuss, I don't know how many plays you have in their playbook for 4th and 27, but I can't think it's many, especially when you're backed up on the 7-yard line, all the pressure in the world, trying to get this first down for Montgomery.
And I think if you're here, there's certain players, especially the linemen, don't hold if you can help it. You watch your hands, keep them inside, no extension. You're talking to the receivers, remember your routes, which are pretty much get to that first down marker. And in addition, you're telling that line, give your quarterback some time to find the open guy so we can keep this game going with 54.5 seconds to go on the clock. We couldn't have drawn this up any better, just drama-wise, as a touchdown sways it back into the favor of the Aztecs and would move them to 3-2. And this would be considered a major upset. And if you're Klexico, you just hold on for this next play, prevent the first down, a couple of kneel downs, because I think pretty much we've had our share of timeouts here. It seems like we've had at least 20. But if you're Klexico, you want to make the stop, you get a couple of kneel downs, and you make the long drive back to the Imperial County undefeated at 5-0.
So it comes down to this for Montgomery. Lil in the shotgun formation this time. 3 receivers to his right. Back to pass, goes left. It's going to little trickeration, but gets out of bounds. It's not nearly enough yardage on that play there.
Well, it was going to be hard to do anything with that as you had the Bulldogs playing deep. They were playing a deep center field there. Not necessarily a prevent, but they were pretty far back. There wasn't much of a rush, and I think there was more that could have been done on that play by Leal, but unfortunately they kind of rushed it, showed their cards a little bit too soon. The ball goes back over to Klexico with still 54.5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Montgomery can't hang their hands just yet. May have the opportunity to force a turnover, look for a strip, anything.
And as you and I have both seen covering this level of football, it can and will happen
Absolutely.
on occasion.
And we have a timeout taken now by Klexico. And this is Coach Heck's second year, and you know he's on that sideline saying, guys, let's just work on our fundamentals. Let's make sure we get a snap, nice easy snap, take a knee. Everybody just hold up a block for a second or two.
Just as if you were doing on the Thursday walkthroughs. Nothing fancy, nothing more than what you're intended to do out there. Do what your position's description calls for, and nothing more. And I tell you, it's going to make that ride back to Klexico if they're able to hold on here a little bit more enjoyable.
Well, for Montgomery, one of their weaknesses that Coach has spoke about was their depth. They didn't have a lot of depth, and with a lot of these guys being injured and banged up on the defensive side of the ball, getting tired in the second half, we've seen how Klexico wore down on them and scored on 5 straight possessions to get back in this ball game and eventually take the lead. Now in the victory formation, they'll take a knee. This clock continues to run.
There's going to be time for one more kneel down. You got to applaud the effort by the Aztecs, because this has turned into a shootout and one quite enjoyable ball game.
There's another kneel down, and I think that's going to do it.
There you go. We're under 15 seconds to go here as the Klexico crowd, not large in size, but pretty vocal from where we are.
And Klexico's going to improve to 5-0 on the year and starting to take notice in the Imperial Valley Division I standings. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned to PlayOnSports.com for our postgame coverage. We'll wrap up all the action in our postgame show, and we'll have an interview with our player of the game. That's coming up in just a few moments. Once again, Klexico Bulldogs have defeated the Montgomery Aztecs by the score of 35-31 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. We're working on getting an interview with our player of the game, Alberto Valdez. Alberto Valdez, a running back for the Klexico Bulldogs, finished the game with 18 carries, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns as Klexico came back from behind to become victorious 35-31 with 5 straight touchdowns in the second half to help them get back in this ball game and remain undefeated at 5-0. So while we're grabbing Alberto Valdez, again, stay tuned for our interview with Alberto Valdez. That's coming up next on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Did you play? Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com coverage of Friday Night Football. I'm joined by our player of the game, Alberto Valdez of the Klexico Bulldogs. And Alberto, 18 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns for you. As a sophomore in a big game like this, Did you have a good vibe coming into this ball game?
Well, obviously we did because we're coming in at 4-0 from 4 great wins, and our motivation was 5-0 and just working hard in practice.
And working hard in practice, you guys did. Now, as a sophomore, you said you played your the last game as a freshman. So, going winless last year, you guys didn't win a game last year. Some of the expectations coming into the season, did you guys, in your wildest dream, did you think that you guys would start 5-0 this year?
Well, once we saw people committing to the offseason and really wanted to play and, forgetting about the 0-10 season, everybody's hopes got up and coaches' hopes got up, got new coaching staff, everything.
Now, speaking of coaching staff, what was said to you guys in that locker room at halftime for you guys to come out, score on 4 straight possessions, and a lot of it thanks to you on the ground?
Well, it's like the only thing is not giving up. Even if you're down by a lot, you just can't give up.
And not give up you did. And a lot of your runs, you have a lot of runs after contact. So it doesn't take one person to bring you down. So where do you attribute some of that strength to when you're out there running and breaking tackles?
Well, it all starts off in our morning practice. We wake up at 5 in the morning every day to lift weights. And, we do our core conditioning, and pushing the sled. It's all about our hard work.
So you're starting to feel a lot stronger this year as the year goes on. And it seemed like as the second half went on, you got stronger, a couple of big runs. What was going through you guys' mind on that final drive as you guys are marching down the field to take over the lead?
Well, the first thing we thought about was not getting confident that it's still not over. They could still come back because they had a really good running back. They have a really good team. It's just that whoever works harder gets to win.
And tonight was Klexico Bulldogs. Again, thanks to the feet of you and running out there. Again, our player of the game, Alberto Valdez of the Klexico Bulldogs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. Welcome back to San Diego, California, and the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. I'm Robert Fields alongside Ed Alcaraz, and we just saw the Klexico Bulldogs come from behind and win 35-31 over the Montgomery Aztecs. And Ed, we talked about at halftime. There's not that much excitement. It's ground and pound, a few yards here, a few yards there, and then boom, second half explosion by both these ball clubs. Put some points on the board, and again, thanks to the running of our player of the game, Valdez, Klexico comes out on top.
I would like to say that they should attribute to the excitement in the second half to us directly. I don't know if we can take credit for that, but I will say this. Both teams in the second half stepped it up, and they exchanged punches right in the middle of that field. They were going back and forth. Still a little bit of sloppy play, but the key was in this game to definitely be the team that was not as sloppy, and we saw that in Klexico. They're a 5-0 team, but I'll tell you what, Montgomery is a very solid, to me, 2-3 team.
Yeah, Montgomery, again, had a good game plan coming into the ball game. Had some outstanding guys on their team. They were just trying to get it to them and see if they can't work it out and pick up some yards on the ground. And you talked about some of their players. They had Williams did great, Charles Williams, and, of course, with the Austin Morga. So you have some bright spots on that Montgomery team.
You definitely have talent at the skill positions. We can't necessarily say that about the receivers because we really didn't see it. We didn't see if the tight end was able to step up, if they were multifaceted. We saw what the running game can do. We saw that the offensive line was able to give the life to this running game. So like you said, you do take positives from that. The one thing I think that they do need to work on, and it's not something necessarily that can be done from week to week, but over the course of the rest of the season, is to try to build the endurance up a little bit. In the second half, I think you kind of saw him drag just a little bit more than Klexico.
Well, that's going to wrap it up from San Diego, California, and the campus of Montgomery High School in the Al Prazak Stadium, where once again the visiting Klexico Bulldogs come down and defeat the host Montgomery Aztecs 35-31. We'd like to thank you for joining PlayOnSports.com's coverage of Friday Night Football from San Diego, California. Be sure to check PlayOnSports.com for more information and links to all of our upcoming broadcasts. For our producer, Brian Hugaboom, our videographer, Dan Stewart, and my broadcast partner, Ed Alcaraz, I'm Robert Fields saying so long, and we'll hope you'll join us next Friday night on your destination for high school sports and Friday Night Football, PlayOnSports.com.